Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on the Kindness Project, we're going to talk about Pitch Perfect 3, Teen Wolf, and part 1 of the interview with Jason Connon talking about Age UK. Welcome to the Kindness Project.
Are you doing your intro first?
No,
or should
you
I
go
do?
first.
I'm joined by a girl who could accurately be described as a Teen Wolf fan. A Teen Wolf fan. She's a Teen Wolf fan.
And I'm joined by the epitome of...
The epitome? What's an epitome?
Let me finish. I'm joined by the epitome of masculinity, and yet he enjoys a bit of Pitch Perfect.
Oh, I love a bit of Pitch Perfect. We spent some time watching Pitch Perfect 3 today, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's Pitch Perfect 3 was maybe the most ridiculous film I've seen this month, but certainly one of the most entertaining.
Yeah.
Bit of singing, bit of silly action. Rebel Wilson doing karate was always good. What did you enjoy about it?
Oh, I quite like the
Has this turned into a film review show all of a sudden?
No.
All right.
This is a one-time thing, and maybe we'll do it next time as
Okay.
well. And
So go on. This is our Pitch Perfect 3 review.
Oh, it was fantabulous.
In order of the best Pitch Perfects, what Pitch Perfect's best?
Oh, you can never beat the first one.
Okay.
So I think it's first, third, second.
Oh, the second one's a bit of a sort of down.
Oh no, I just thought the third one was really good, but you can never beat the first one.
Yeah, so Pitch Perfect is good. And even though I consider myself relatively masculine, I am talking about crying a lot at the minute. I do seem to cry. And it's
Even strong men cry.
everybody cries. Everybody cries. So I do like a bit of a cry up. So that's all good. So you like Teen Wolf as well?
I love to.
As we're doing a film review show by the looks of it, should we do a TV review? What's Teen Wolf like?
Oh my god, alright, so I've only binge watched it twice.
Okay.
But I find myself occasionally going back just to watch like little moments in it, like the comedic moments, the sweet moments, never the action moments, because that's not the reason I watched the show.
Right.
Even though that's like...
So is it? It's because Teen Wolf. I remember Teen Wolf as a movie back in the
it's a
'80s with Michael J.
series.
Fox, and it's a bit gory, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit hardcore.
It's a bit hardcore.
I am definitely not going to be watching that. So
I wouldn't recommend it.
you wouldn't recommend it?
No, I wouldn't recommend it to you.
All right. Okay. What do you recommend to me?
Ooh,
Pitch Perfect 4 when it comes out.
There's not going to be one.
No, there's not going to be a Pitch Perfect 4. I cannot believe it. I mean, come on, film producers, wherever you're listening, and you're probably not. Let's have a Pitch Perfect 4 in our lives. Anyway, shall we let our listeners know, as we always do, how they can get in touch with us, and our Facebook Live, all 4 people who are watching currently. Hello. Hello, Brenda. Apparently, there's a few people watching. So let our Facebook Live watchers and our podcast listeners know where they can get in touch.
Already.
You're probably watching us right now.
Don't click out of this yet, but just remember that you have to search in the search bar Ola Kindness.
Ola with an H?
No. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Then if you go to Twitter and you search at Ola Kindness, it will give you pretty much the same results just on Twitter.
Okay.
And then if you go on, I'm sure we've got an Instagram, I just don't know what it is. I think it's the Kindness Project.
Okay. So there's the Kindness Project on Instagram as well, yeah?
And then the email is ola@thekindnessproject.co.uk.
So you can get in touch with us in any way you like. And typically what we do is we do a little question of the podcast. And this week's question of the podcast is, if you could live somebody else's life for a week, who would you choose?
Ooh.
So who would you choose?
I don't know. I feel like...
Oh no, that's a text message. It's nothing to do with Facebook Live at all. Who would you choose?
I don't know. I feel like I think I should get comfortable with my own life first.
Okay, so you wouldn't live like just to experience somebody else's life.
Nah.
And when are you going to get comfortable with your life?
When I die.
Morbid.
What was it you always
little bit morbid. But yeah, so that's the question. We're struggling to answer that this week, but certainly for our listeners, give it a go. And anybody watching on Facebook Live right now, let us know who, if you could live the life of somebody else for a week, who would you choose? It'll be good to hear your thoughts. And on that note, should we move on to the next section of the show? Oh, I'm holding my hand. Lovely. Go on and do the jingle.
Kindness news.
Scotland edition. Was that? What? What? That was good.
It's mildly offensive.
Mildly offensive. Right, you do it then. I'll do the jingle, and you do the Scottish accent. Right. Kindness news.
Scotland edition.
Oh, not bad. There's been a murder. Right. This is a kindness news article from the Daily Record. I forgot. Cassie, my mother-in-law listens to this, and she's Scottish. Go and do it.
Scottish.
All right. See, you're not bad. 5. Let me tell you about the Scottish edition of Kindness News. 5 unbelievable Scottish acts of kindness that melted our hearts in 2018. So, firstly, the article's saying, before you can read this article, it's telling me, have you ever bought a gift card? Have you ever bought a gift card so we can actually get through to the article?
No.
I don't think I have, no. So please show me the article now, the Daily Record, and stop asking me about gift cards.
Money.
Right, we're going to accept that, and hopefully it will go through to the article now. And it's taken its time, so we'll take it. Oh no,
money. We don't need your money.
No, apparently I need an advert for all as well. So we will eventually. There we go. If there's one trait of Scots that can't be rivalled, it's our desire to help others. Whatever you call them, heroes or legends, last year there was no end of instances in which Scots went above and beyond. From locals assisting drivers stranded by the relentless beast from the east. We got a bit of the beast from the east, didn't we?
We're from the south east.
The beast, yeah, but the beast from the east. Do you remember when it got really cold? Earlier this year, or earlier last year, to the humble granddad who helped out, there's loads of Scottish acts of kindness. Start with number 1, and that is Beast from the East heroes. The intense whiteout we suffered earlier this year brought many opportunities for Scots to reveal their community spirit. In East Kilbride, a nurse rescued a snowed-in pensioner in a tractor, while another man spent 14 hours in a 4x4 rescuing emergency workers. And there's some tweets with people asking for help. And in Lanark, a bride's big day was saved after a council and police convoy safely delivered her wedding dress to her. South Lanarkshire Council sent a tractor and a van to pick up the dress and deliver it to the relieved bride ahead of the ceremony. Just imagine looking out your window and going, oh my God. My wedding day. And it could be quite romantic having a sort of white wedding.
It's like that song, Ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, like,
don't you think?
Like rain on your
It's like rain. So that was story 1. Story 2, homeless man guards stranger's cash outside Glasgow court. And there's a picture. The homeless man was James McGowan. A homeless man's story went viral back in January 2018 after he stood for hours in the rain guarding a stranger's car with £450 inside to stop it being stolen. The money belonged to John McGonigal, who set up a GoFundMe page to help get James John McGowan back on his feet. Amazing. Firm treats employees to Tenerife holiday.
Oh, Tenerife.
I will not be taking my members of staff to Tenerife, just so you know. Obviously, they're a bit more generous in Glasgow. Bosses at Glasgow firm Pursuit Marketing sent employees to the Canary Islands for a 4-day, all-expenses-paid holiday just to say thank you for their hard work. A group of 40 were banished. You are banished from the Glasgow office to bask in the Spanish sun, sipping cocktails and dancing the night away at beach parties. It's nice, isn't it? It's good. And then number 4 is, and the last one I'm going to do, boy receives letter from postman about heavenly letter from dad. Okay? So a Scottish boy was stunned. After Royal Mail responded to his request to send a birthday card to his dad in heaven. Little Jace from Blackburn wanted to wish his father, who passed away in 2014, a happy birthday, and staff went above and beyond to make his wish come true. And I will do the last one because it is number 5. Grandad gives homeless man his caravan over Christmas. Now that is an amazing idea. Because you think about the amount of holiday homes that are unused
during
a lot of the year.
time.
Could those accommodations be used to house the homeless people? It might be something worth considering. A Scottish grandad gave a homeless man an amazing Christmas gift by handing over the keys to his holiday caravan for the festive period. Kind-hearted Angus Blair made the gesture to Jose Kovacs Nunes after being sickened by vile videos of thugs tormenting rough sleepers on the streets. So that is 5 examples of why it's kind in Scotland. I don't know what happened to my thing there. So it's kind in
Scotland.
Scotland's pretty kind. And Sophie's walked in the room and she's laughing at us podcasting, aren't you, Soph? Scotland. So shall we get on to this week's story of kindness?
Let's crack on.
So this week for our story of kindness, we've actually got an interview. We've got Jason Connon, who we interviewed about. He's a lovely guy, Jason. He runs an insurance business as his day job, but he does this thing for Age UK.
Yep.
And he does this thing where he'll give away some of his time. He'll pick up for a phone call once a week with an elderly person because loneliness. You was involved. Jason's a good guy, isn't he? So he talked about how he befriended the lady that he's now friends with, who he speaks to every week. He talked about his love for the Beatles, and we talked about why he got involved with spending just an hour of his time every week. Just having a chat with somebody in Liverpool.
Nice.
Should we have a little listen? Okay, so today we're joined by Jason. Hi Jason, how you doing?
Good afternoon, I'm good.
Hi.
And Charlotte, who doesn't normally come to
Usually don't
interviews.
turn up.
You don't normally...
I decided to come today.
Thanks for showing up. You get both of us instead of just me. And Jason, we had a chat about some of the work you do for as a befriended. Can you help me understand a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I participate in the Age UK Call in Time scheme.
Okay.
And Call in Time is one part of a number of things that Age UK do to support elderly people in the UK.
Yeah.
And Call in Time is specifically a scheme where you are selected to join with a friend who has declared to Age UK that they are lonely or feeling isolated, and you're matched through interests and hobbies, and you call this individual once a week and just chat about life.
Love it.
About your interests.
Cool.
And the individual at the other side has a sense of engagement with someone to talk to. And you also act as a bit of an alert system, so if there's any tone of concern or issues, you can flag it back to Age UK.
Love it. We're going to talk a lot more about that, but before we do that, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, I guess the initial thing is you worked out that I have a Scottish accent. So,
Yeah, probably.
It's still there. I'm a Glaswegian who now resides in Surrey. I'm a father of two, an older son and a very young daughter.
How are you sleeping now? Because she's still good?
Much better.
Cool.
So we're pretty much through the night.
Okay.
There's a late feed that my partner and I swap and take a shot each.
Are you through the night yet, Charlotte? Are you sleeping all right? Sometimes you pop in, don't you?
Yeah, I get a hot chocolate, I get a cold beverage.
You still get a story?
I have to do that myself.
Well, no. So Charlotte's a big reader. So she, no, you don't get the story. But Sophie Charlotte's sister started to tell us stories, and it's amazing when that happens. I mean, you've gone through it with your elder one, right? But when your daughter starts telling you stories, and you do it to me as well. That Agatha Christie book you told me about, and then there were none. Charlotte said, "You've got to read this book. It's amazing." And then started telling me half the plot, and it's a murder mystery. I was like, "Don't! I need to read it first." Anyway, we're going on a tangent, which we normally do. So little one's sleeping pretty well.
Yeah, brilliant. We're really getting there.
Okay.
And just maturing and getting better.
Cool.
She does. She's 1 in a couple of weeks, so big milestone. She's on track.
Is she walking yet?
She is days away.
Yeah.
So she's assisted with some toys, hold her hand, she'll walk. So it's the next big thing.
Amazing. I love that. I'm a bit gutted that I'm never going to go through that again. But still quite like to sleep. Yeah.
So it's an 18-year gap.
Yeah. We thought the gap between you and Sophie was big. 8 years, yeah. And how did you get involved with AGK?
So I have, through my working life, I've always done something to support community work, social welfare, giving back.
Yeah.
And what I'd done historically was mainly around supporting younger people.
Yeah.
So some of the things I've done in the past and continue to do is try and educate kids on financial services.
Yeah.
My specialism is insurance. That's always an interesting talk with more interesting.
Yeah, we've done a bit of that. Yeah,
that's great fun. And some things more around the transition from school to working life.
Yeah.
So assistance with CVs, interview skills. And I thought that's great. I love doing that. But there's maybe just something I can do at the other side of I guess the age scale. And my previous employer, it was either a webinar or some presentation I attended, and it was about Age UK and the call and time scheme, and I thought that sounds right up my street. And I got my friend went through the process, and that's now 5 years I've been speaking to Dillis.
So Dillis is your friend. She's your friend. Yeah. And that relationship has maintained that 5 years, and you always keep the same friend?
Yeah. Well, you have an option to say, this is maybe run its course, and that will happen, evidently for certain people. But for us, I've never once went on the phone and went, we have nothing to
talk about. There's always something.
Way beyond the 5 or 6 hobbies that connected us. Moved way beyond the thanks for calling and helping.
But 5 years is a deep relationship, right? Picking up the phone every week for 5 years, you're going to develop an awesome relationship.
It's a real friendship.
Love it.
Well, firstly, Dillis has helped me.
Yeah.
And I know from feedback from her and her feedback to Age UK is that she really values and appreciates it. So I know I'm doing something good.
Yeah.
Other beneficial connections to it is it reminds me before my own mum.
Yeah, gotcha.
She's back in Glasgow, and it's too easy to WhatsApp. It's too easy to send
Facebook message or
which is no way in the same level of interaction as picking up the phone. Obviously, when I can get up and visit, great. But if I can't, then pick up the phone
You know what? It's something we've tried to do with my mum over the last couple of years, and what we've tried to do, we did it last year. We're going to do it next year, and we try and go up. Is just take my mum on holiday once every now and again. And the last one we did was Pontins, wasn't it? It was all fully cold in a really dodgy shower.
There's a lot of bingo.
And there was a lot of bingo. You know what? I pretend to turn my nose up at bingo, but when I'm doing it, I actually quite enjoy it. And tell me about Dennis. What connects you?
Dennis is in her 80s.
Okay.
So she is again my age. She's twice my age.
Yeah.
And as part of the onboarding process, you kind of give the guys at Age UK a sense of the things you like. So,
yeah.
The trigger points for Dennis and I. The first one was the Beatles.
Okay, cool. Well, look, we all love the Beatles.
You can't hate on the Beatles.
We all love the Beatles.
So that was the first. Just a general love of music, politics, current affairs.
Yes.
She's very bright, sharp-witted.
So she's actively engaged in the world, right? You know,
she is sharp as a tack.
Cool.
And what's happened the last couple of years, I guess, slightly negative context around the political landscape, there's always, my God, have you seen what's up? So, you know, he keeps us going in terms of a top.
Hatred of Trump being a connecting factor. Maybe Trump is actually pretty kind because of he's being deliberately diverse.
I can't agree with you now on that one.
No, you can't.
He creates debate.
It definitely creates debate.
He's being obviously controversial to himself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help when people twist what he says.
And you talked about the vetting process. How does that work?
Yeah, so you sign up. There's a couple of ways to do it. You can sign up online with Age UK. When I originally did it, I met some of the staff. You probably see out in the streets on occasion Age UK staff.
Yeah.
The largest UK charity for the well-being and benefit of older generation.
And we interestingly, we interviewed somebody from a local Age UK chapter, because they did some work a few years ago about splitting some of their local chapters into separate charities, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they're still huge and they do loads of work.
Yeah, so the online process is very simple. You give your details, you nominate 2 references, they'll do some basic background checks just in terms of safety and security for everyone involved, and you list your hobbies and interests, and that's how they match. They will then talk to you, the Age UK, to say, right, this is who we've got in mind. You have an option, male, female, or don't mind. And you test the connection, because sometimes they don't work. That's just human nature, but that's not to put anyone off. They will then find you someone that it will work. And go back to your earlier point, that can be for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, whatever period.
So it's the Beatles' current affairs. You know what? One of the questions of the podcast we definitely need to ask, and we haven't done yet. What's your favourite Beatles song? What would your answer be?
Oh, I don't know. Lucy and the Scribe of Diamonds.
See, I like that, but Let It Be is just a classic.
I played that on the ukulele. I quite enjoyed it.
Have you done the Beatles tour in Liverpool? Have you?
Yeah.
See, absolutely love doing that. And we haven't done it for a few years, and we said we'd go back, and our Sophie's a bit older, but just having an afternoon in the Cavern Club is amazing.
It makes the hairs in your neck, even without music.
And it's not the original venue, is it? Because they had to move it. But I tell you what was incredible, and you came with me, didn't you? And it was a few years ago, so you were a bit younger. But when they did Hey Jude at the end, and everybody sings, it's just...
We went down there like one song before that started, and then all of a sudden they started singing Hey Jude, and I could just see his face. Go like,
It was
a brilliant Paul McCartney spot with James Corden.
Carpool karaoke, right?
It's 20-30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a proper kind of...
You know what was amazing about that was when they went into the pub and they did the jukebox thing.
The folk in the pub didn't know what was happening.
But what was interesting is there's still a passion for the Beatles in that city, isn't there? You know, like sort of people around. You've seen that carpool karaoke.
Yeah, I have. It's good. Carpool karaoke.
So help me understand a little bit more about the Age UK called Untitled scheme then. How many people are helped? You know, how long has it been running? Is it sort of what do we need to know about it?
So the first thing is understanding as best we can what is the definition of isolation and loneliness, and it's one of the big taboos. It's very difficult for anyone to actually admit I'm lonely.
Yeah.
It's even harder to see it in someone because we make such basic assumptions. You've got family, you go to church, you meet friends for coffee, you have the internet, which opens you up to so many kind of means of chatting with family and friends. But it's not as simple as that. It's a personal thing, it's a personal feeling. So Age UK, their website gives you some numbers in terms of the interest. 5 million hits last year.
Gotcha.
So it gives you a view and a feel of the
And that's people who might want to volunteer, or is that their website?
Mixture. The majority will be around needing support.
Yeah.
Some other numbers. So there's 3.5 million people who live alone in the older age bracket in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's a large number.
Yeah.
We have an ageing population crisis that's now that will magnify as time goes on, and a lot of the focus there is on healthcare in terms of pure physical wellness in the main and getting into care.
But there's an interesting debate around that, because I think what we don't focus on is the social and mental elements of healthcare, which actually reflect in physical healthcare. So why are we not focusing on that bit when it will have an impact on the physical?
Cause.
Yeah, agreed.
The root cause.
Agreed.
So of the 3.5 million older people who live alone, 2 million have contacted the Age UK about loneliness.
You're joking, 2 million people.
So the size of the problem.
And Age UK aren't the only ones doing this. There's a good silver lining.
Yeah,
there's a few other.
Age UK are the largest and probably the most prominent.
Yeah.
There's various other schemes.
Do you know how many people Age UK support with the connection scheme, with the
Calling time? Tens of thousands.
Okay.
Yeah, and that changes and goes up and down as individuals can support or as individuals ask, but on a rolling basis there's a substantial amount.
But today, tens of thousands compared to 2 million is still a gap.
Promoting the scheme. We need more people. The exponential rise of older people isn't being matched by an exponential rise of people.
Volunteers.
So the gap is widening. And if today can help get us one extra person doing that scheme, then brilliant.
No, I like that. And I think what's misunderstood is you're giving your time for no tangible benefit to yourself. And I know you mentioned you've learned loads talking to your friend. Help me understand what you've learned from that experience.
So there is benefit. So the point around, it's a great trigger to phone Rose, my partner. And even if I don't do that immediately after or that night, I just know that I've got that
in mind.
And there's always a connection and trigger. The other thing is, more recently, first couple of years, I've pretty much tied to my desk in a specific role I had. So I've called Dennis in the morning from my desk, and as time went on and my job actually changed, I started to tie in the calls with going for a walk. So I was a 30-minute walk, my headphones on, dial the number, no issues with the call volume and all of that, technology helped, but being able to go for a walk, so there was some health and well-being for me.
So that was a really good interview, wasn't it?
That was a good interview.
Yeah.
Tis the end.
Yeah, but the end's never really the end,
end's never
is
the
it?
end, no.
The end of our podcast isn't actually the end.
It's only the beginning.
It's the beginning of the end. So what we're going to do is talk about last week's question.
This week.
And this week we had loads of answers.
It was explosive.
It was explosive. People loved answering this one because last week's question was, what's your pet peeve? What tiny little thing
Oh, it's one of those questions
annoys
that took the
you?
on their site.
Yeah, annoys you the most. And it had quite a lot of answers. So should we go them through? And what we'll do as we're doing that.
Sorry. I'm trying to wait.
Hi Carly, thanks for watching. What we're going to do is we're going to rate them on a peevometer, right?
Ooh.
So that peevometer can either go from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. What do you want to do?
Ooh, 10.
10. Right. So I'm gonna tell you the things that annoy people, and you're gonna say how annoying each thing actually is. Are you ready? Okay. And before we do that, I just want to give a big shout out to. I got involved in a charity thing last week at my local gym. We did 3 hours of exercise. And raised about £3,000 for. Why are you pulling that face? Is that because Sophie's dancing in the background? Good dance, Sophie, like it. So big shout out to a guy called Sean Acton who arranged it, got us all involved. We raised, I think, over about £3,000 for cancer research. But I was very tired at the end. Got to a point where I got home and said to Mum, I'm coming up for 10 minutes for a snooze. 2.5 hours later, I got up and went, oh,
That's normal for you.
that is normal for me, to be fair. So, big shout out to Sean for doing that. And we'll talk about everybody's pet peeves using the peevometer, Charlotte Dames.
Also, Facebook Live inputs.
Yeah, tell us how annoying these things are,
All
if they
three
are.
of our listeners.
Okay, all 3 of our watchers. So the first one was from Jeff Hilliard, who finds that noisy eaters really annoy him. Now, if you want to know how to eat quietly, just do what Sophie did, because she's eating right now and it's really quiet.
It's like a
Peevometer, 3, so we're not giving it too high.
We're not rating it too high.
Richard Earl. Lots of things that become a huge thing. Litter. I despise it. So he really doesn't like people dropping litter. What do you think about that? What rating?
Well, like dropping it on the floor in like public places.
As opposed to what?
Dropping it on the floor in not public places.
Well, dropping it in your house.
Yeah.
That's not litter then, is it? That's just messiness.
like a good 6.
It's a good 6. How about in your house? If you drop it in your
It's in the shared space, it's a good 6. But if it's like in your own space and like you know you're gonna pick it up later, it's a good 4.
It's a good 4. How would you rate that if it was in your own house, but Marie Kondo was coming round on the day?
Oh gosh.
Because she'd condo that up, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
She'd condo that up. Right, dropping litter's a 6. Oh, and people who ask a lot of questions, that's clearly a 1.
It's a 0, man.
It's a 0. We like questions.
No one's annoying me.
Chris Haycock says people stacking the dishwasher from the front backwards. Apparently that's really annoying. Is it?
Gosh.
Is that an annoying thing or not?
Nothing ever gets washed.
Oh, right, okay. Is that
Because if you stack it in reverse,
okay?
the water comes up the wrong way.
Worse than litter, though? I don't think so. So what would you say?
Gosh, it's about the same actually. It's about 6 or 7.
Sorry, people chucking stuff on the floor in the street is as bad as I'm not convinced you've got this game. Gillian Bird has just gone for a one-word answer. Crumbs. I like a good crumb. It means, yeah.
Just sweep it up.
Hoover out of your mouth. Like that. Shilu Magacha said, noisy or open mouth eaters, not putting new toilet roll in holder when previous roll's empty. So let's take those 2. How do you feel about noisy eaters, you noisy eater?
It's 1 or 2. It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, and the toilet roll thing, I do it all the time. So sorry.
All right. All right. Okay. So what rating would you give them?
Both like a 1 or a 2.
1 or 2.
Not.
Okay. Sue Conyu. I'm a noisy eater as well, apparently, so I definitely shouldn't rate that one. Sue Conyu said, people not aware when they clearly encroach on your personal space.
Oh, gosh.
Now, the problem is,
Gosh.
I'm a hugger. And I do ask permission when I give somebody a hug. But I don't know where that line is between
feel
encroaching on
like
somebody's personal space.
It's worse when you're having a bad day,
Right.
and you just kind of want people to back off, and they suddenly come up.
Oh no, I'm getting a hug. I'm getting a hug.
They come up and they just want to.
Yeah. Well, so what about when you're having a bad day and somebody comes up and gives you a hug, but it makes you feel a bit better?
They have to ask first.
All right, okay. Charlotte, can I give you a hug? Is that a no?
It's a no. It's a
Okay. So, balloon. Random balloon. Hayley Ball said the dog. He's very annoying. I think is she talking about our dog?
No,
She's probably
dog's
right.
lovely.
Truthfully,
Pulls like a couple of bins every now and then.
truthfully, it's probably other people's timekeeping. I cannot stand lateness, especially at work when I'm relying on somebody to get home. Alan Bowley's one is quite melancholy. He's annoyed by constant changes at work. Oh, Alan, change your job, mate. I mean, like, what's going on?
Well, if he changes his job, that's a change at work.
It is. Oh, I hate changes at work. Change your job. That's a big change at work. Mike Christie said selfishness, which I completely get. And Sophie's now on Facebook decided to put some props onto the thing. And then Richard Bishop said, people asking me on social media what annoys me. All right, Richard, you little miserly bloke.
What annoys you, Richard?
Lucius McCash said lack of manners. I'd agree with that. Suddenly we're on a toy YouTube channel that Sophie's putting stuff in there. And Charles Goodman said unnecessary packaging, which I think is right.
Yeah, it's just a waste of the environment.
So did Lauren Janer. She didn't like unnecessary packaging either. Holly Wright said seeing others drop litter. And Alexander Riley's done us a list. So he's got a massive list of things that annoy him.
Hold on, we'll rate these ones.
So all of these, right? When my wife leaves an empty mug in the sink with the tea bag still in it.
Oh God, you have to take the tea bag out before you drink the tea though.
Now, I don't normally get annoyed by a lot of stuff, but I was in the office the other day. Menti made me a cup of tea. It still had the tea bag in it. I went for a sip. Suddenly I've got a mouthful of tea bag. Now, bubble tea's the worst invention in the world, I think, possibly.
No, especially if you get stuck up in your straw and you can't drink anything.
I've never got bubble tea stuck on my straw.
Not the bubbles from the bubble tea stuck up your straw.
Matthew Sibley, yeah. Oh, sorry, I've not finished. I'm on number one of Alex's pet peeve agenda. Number one was when my wife leaves an empty mug on the sink. What are you thinking?
It's a good 4 or 5.
4 or 5? Number two, someone leaving all of the lights on while going out.
It's a good 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
Doesn't bother me that much, but I know it bothers other people.
Okay.
Mummy does that.
Tourists meandering. I'm a meandering tourist.
I feel like that's a stab at me. Just like,
What?
I'm a meandering tourist.
You're
I'm a tourist in my own country.
You are a meanderer, full stop, but so am I. The only time that annoys me is walking over Westminster Bridge and people get their selfie sticks out and you go, oh, trying to, like, it's like a selfie stick maze. Standing on the left on the tube, what do you think of that one?
Which side are you supposed to stand on?
I ain't got a clue. And loud mobile phone conversations.
See, I'm a very loud and expressive person, so I'm just...
Yeah.
But I don't like talking on the phone, so
Yeah.
there's two sides to that.
Fair enough. Ollie Smith said when people arrange a location to meet you and change the location as you're en route, stick to the plan, FFS. I know what that means.
Do
you?
I?
So yeah, he doesn't like when people change plans. Ian Horn's gone for pull handles
on
and
push doors.
What is that? I don't think I've ever seen a
I have.
a pull handle and a push door.
You've got a handle, you've got to push the door with the handle. It's like,
Right.
what the hell are you doing?
Right.
That is the most awkward way to design a door. Check your architecture. I'm never going to go.
I tell you what rating would you give that? Because you seem a bit flummoxed about that one. Is that above a 6?
It's like a 6 or a 7. Because I always get really confused and push.
Go on, be definitive. Is it a 6, which is equal to litter, or a 7, which is more annoying than litter?
6.
Oh, we're still waiting for a definitive winner then. Dave Nicoli said people waiting until they arrive at the barrier gate to get their Oyster card out.
God, no.
What do you reckon on that one?
See, even when I get on the bus, I have to pull the oyster out before the bus even pulls up.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm just
And Amy Rose said when train station announcers announce at the last minute what platform you're on, and then you and 10,000 other people have got to rush for the train. How annoying is that?
it's really annoying.
It's really annoying.
But I don't get on trains often enough for that to be an issue for me.
So what are you rating it?
Like a good 6.
6 is your go-to, isn't it? What is it? A 6. You haven't know what it is yet. Still a 6. Still a
Might
6.
be a 4, but it's probably a 6.
Yeah. Graham Dale said free Wi-Fi that goes on and off in Edinburgh Airport. Well, that's never annoyed me because I haven't spent enough time in Edinburgh Airport.
Yeah, but I know he's talking about the free Wi-Fi going on and off. That's...
I know. It's not good,
That's
is it?
just...
What's that? A 6?
It's probably a 7.
Right. Are you genuinely is it because it's Wi-Fi related and your life is Wi-Fi? Is that the reason? That's what free Wi-Fi going off is worse than littering.
So we went to this place with Nan, and the Wi-Fi, every hour you had to log back into it, and I was sitting there trying to watch my TV show. And each episode was 45 minutes long. So every time an episode stopped, I had to sit and refresh the Wi-Fi.
And that's worse than people chucking their rubbish
Yeah.
or push doors that pull.
It's something that happens constantly.
You are such a child of your generation. Don't worry about politeness or kindness or niceness or push-pull doors or litter. Wi-Fi? Don't muck about with my Wi-Fi.
I live with that Wi-Fi during school hours.
Yeah. Well, how would you... that'd be a good question. What would you do in exchange for unlimited free Wi-Fi?
I'll just sit there.
I thought you were going to say, what would you do without Wi-Fi? And I would have told you that every day I would have had to make a trip to a bookshop.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's not the worst way to deal with it in the world. Anita Sargent said people who walk very slowly during the morning rush hour without looking where they're going because they're too busy scrolling through their Facebook feed and trying to get free Wi-Fi.
I don't do it during the rush hour.
Okay, fair enough. Martin Coyle said misspelling, and he spelled it 3 different ways, which is an interesting point. Mike Christie said Mandy Minutes. Now, I've got to explain Mandy Minutes. At my local gym, we're meant to do an exercise for a minute, but what tends to happen is there's a trainer called Mandy at my local gym who tends to extend those minutes to about 1 minute 20 seconds. Mandy, that's not a minute. That is not a minute. 1 minute 20 seconds isn't
exactly
a minute.
80 seconds.
John Cookie said people pronouncing Brexit as Brexit. That annoyed him.
Like Breakers It.
Oh, and Scrappy Doo. He doesn't like Scrappy Doo.
Who likes Scrappy Doo? Who the hell out there likes Scrappy Doo?
Mandy, my trainer from the gym, says people who quickly judge without actually knowing somebody, never judge a book by its cover. The read will be your finding. I don't know what that last bit means, but
I don't know where you're looking.
yeah, I'm looking now. Mikey Fitzgerald's coming into play. Our mate Mikey, our guest host. It used to be empty staplers, but since I saw a meme showing that if you remove the rubber off the back of a stapler, you'll find extra staplers, it's now not an issue. I didn't know that, did you?
Me.
You can find secret staplers under your stapler.
There's memes for everything now. Like, there's even memes about, like, the GCSE stuff. Like, if you go online and put GCSE memes, it's just a load of memes about how different, like, about the GCSE material. I know there's loads of Inspector Calls ones, because those are funny.
I don't. You will have to talk about memes, perhaps kindness, good memes on a future podcast.
Memes are fun.
Sean Atton's got a few. He doesn't like motorways, and I know he spends a decent amount of time on them. He thinks opening door or for a woman is still quite a nice thing to do. So do I.
For everyone, man,
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah,
No,
well,
not
you are allowed to do that. And Demi says people buying a really expensive car and using their mobile phone while driving because they can't work out how to work Bluetooth. That does annoy me. People on their phone. When the reality is you can do hands-free so easily now. Alistair McCann is a bit of a perfectionist, and he said, generally being satisfied with close enough. I told somebody a walk took about 26 minutes, and they said about 26. A train is late when it does not leave at the timetable minutes. 3 minutes is late, 1 minute is late. Calm down,
Oh my
Alistair.
God, I'm like that.
Calm down, Alistair.
The bus is supposed to come at exactly 8 o'clock, and if it comes after, it's late. If it comes before, it's.
I'm
Really?
chilled. I'm a bit chilled about it. If I've got to wait another minute, I'm not too worried.
No, see, there's an issue because you have to time everything. Like, I get into school at 8:10,
Right.
and then I go to the library and I have a little chill for a little while, do some homework that's due like the next day, the day before, whatever, and then I just get on with my day. And if the bus is on time and it gets there on time, everything goes nice and smooth.
How has this turned into Diary of a Teenager? I don't know what's happened now. And on that note, and on that bumper question and answer session, I'm constantly flummoxed. But on that bumper, Diary of a Teenager by Charlotte Dames, I get up. If the bus is late, I get frustrated. But on that note, we'll see you next week.